This is my hobby, the greatest hobby. Hobbyist here, we are back at it again with our Talisman character exploration guide. And previously, we have covered the rogue and her mediocre-esque qualities to her, if you ask me. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button and to subscribe, because we want to make sure that all of this information and all of these guides can be taken into your own home. Because I know plenty of you love to play Talisman, so I want to give you guys as much information as I can, and I want to make sure that you guys know that there's new videos that are being churned out every single Tuesday. But other than that, let's get into the next character. The next character that we're going to be covering inside of the Highland Expansion is an inventive, dedicated master of the arcane sciences who relentlessly pursues esoteric knowledge. This is, in fact, the Alchemist. Buddy, let me tell you, by far, the Alchemist is superior in every single way to every other character inside the Highland Expansion. If I'm being quite honest, I think that the Alchemist is the only character that should be relevant inside of Talisman, because he is so much better than everybody else inside of the Highland Expansion, and is easily one of the best characters in Talisman, period, regardless of how many expansions you're playing with. But especially when it comes to playing inside of the Highlands, and if you've got the city expansion active, you're in for a world of hurt with the Alchemist. And let me go ahead and show you why. His card shows that he's got a strength of 2 and a craft of 4, which is pretty good. And as we can see here down at the bottom, we've got this eagle head logo. And that is simply put the symbol of the Highland Expansion. So if you are interested in learning more about the Highland Expansion and its components, I'll leave the video up top. But this essentially means that any of those components inside of the Highland Expansion are going to bear that eagle head logo. And it's going to make a difference when it comes to separating this from the rest of your Talisman adventures. But moving forward with the rest of the Alchemist's character card and the stats, we can see that he's got a fate of 3, an average life of 4, he's a neutral character, and he starts in the city. Now, in comparison to the rogue, the Alchemist is significantly closer to the Highland region than, and this plays a small role in positioning, but otherwise, with just this expansion alone, this doesn't offer too much. In comparison though, if you are in a full-scale Talisman game to where you have every single expansion active, then you are the closest to the city region. And while the Alchemist only has 3 character abilities, from a big scale standpoint, you are more than likely going to want to run straight for the city region before you go anywhere close to the Highland region. And I'll tell you why. This first character ability out of the 3 that the Alchemist has is you begin the game with 5 gold. So like the merchant inside of the Reaper expansion, the Alchemist is going to have some money in his pocket. And it makes sense for his character. He's an alchemist. He's literally going to turn things into gold and has magics that turns things into gold. And that plays even more perfect in these next 2 abilities, which honestly can be so incredibly broken when you combine them together. So the first one out of those 2 says, during your turn, you may alchemize any objects you have in a gold. Discard the chosen objects and gain 1 gold for each object, and 3 gold for each magic object. Now, this could play a minor role inside of the Highland expansion, but more so in the city. Let me just go ahead and tell you a very broken loop that you have inside of if you're going into the city. So imagine this, if you will. We start the game, we get our 5 pieces of gold, and we run straight to the city. The apothecary inside of the city expansion, the potion shop, only is going to require for you to get 3 potions at the cost of 1 gold each. Easy enough. You go straight there, you go to the apothecary, you buy 3 potions. If none of these potions are immediately useful to you, or better yet, if it isn't the flight potion, or if it isn't the phoenix potion, alchemize the rest, alchemize all 3 of them, and then increase your profits. Because what you're doing here is that you spent 3 gold, you've alchemized each magic object, so that's 9 gold that you're getting back, giving you 11 gold in that one turn. Then you come out of the apothecary area, then you hop over to the magic emporium, you buy scrolls, you buy 3 scrolls, then you alchemize those. So if we're doing the math, 11 minus 3, because that's the 3 gold that you spent, that's 9, and then you're getting an additional 9 gold on top of that, and you stack for 18. If you manage to get stuck to where you're only moving 1 space at a time, that could be any more perfect, because honestly at that point, you can just head over to the Magic Emporium and then hop back and forth from the Magic Emporium to the town square space that is right outside of it. It's honestly pretty broken and is the one place that you can farm gold the quickest. It's just absolutely fantastic. And then you can, of course, spend all that gold that you've accumulated on the various shops and buy yourself all the weapons and tools that you need in order to progress. But gold also plays a secondary role, so you want to be careful with how much gold you spend right away, because during your turn, you may alchemize any gold you have into potions. For each gold you discard, you may replenish 1 fate, heal 1 life, or gain 1 spell, if your craft allows. You may alchemize objects into gold and alchemize gold into potions during the same turn. So, let's say we got ourselves our magic potions that we bought inside the city expansion. To further elaborate on this, we bought our 3, and then we alchemized the 3 potions to get 9 gold out of it. During that same turn, you can then replenish any fate that you may have used earlier, heal up your lives if you haven't, or if you've been building your craft right, you could buy 3 spells at a time, because you're essentially alchemizing 3 pieces of gold in order to get 3 spells. So as long as you have gold, you can keep your fate up, you can keep your life up, and you can cycle through spells at the same time. And honestly, just because your capabilities as the alchemist are better than the actual city space that you start on, you don't even really need the city space square. You could play on the Cataclysm board and still do just fine, because all the objects and stuff that you're collecting, especially with how much loot is inside of the Highland Expansion, you can either just pick and choose what you want and what you don't need, then you can just alchemize the rest in order to make it as money. Honestly, the Alchemist is just a fantastic character and has the easiest way of accumulating wealth than any other character, period. Like, it's honestly just great. In fact, I don't even think I need to show you just how good he is inside of the Highland region either. Because even though there's spaces and objects that can get you wealth, it's not really necessary. You could be using the Alchemist inside of other expansions, especially with the city expansion, like I mentioned earlier, to where as long as the city expansion is active, you don't even have to worry about being broke with the Alchemist. It's honestly great. So overall, the Alchemist is one of the pinnacle characters inside of Talisman, just because of the wealth that he can attain. But other than that, this concludes our video on the Alchemist. I thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.